Good evening and welcome to the Town of Belgrade Planning Board of Thursday, November 20th, 2025. It is 6:04 and I will call the meeting to order. I'm gonna have a roll call. Tonight in the meeting, we have present Mrs. Penny Morel. We have Mr. Nick Sakaro. We have Mr. Peter Surgeon. We have Mr. George Seal. And we have Mr. Craig Alexander and myself, Sarah Langet. We also have our CEO here, Hans Rasmussen. And in the audience, we have, I know this guy, Mr. Pat Donahue. So that said, we will go to the first order of business here tonight. And that slot was to, for the Cluid subdivision. But I think they're not here. So we're gonna skip item A of the agenda. We're gonna move to item B, which is the Belgrade Lake and Natural Resource Committee presentation related to phosphorus contained in fertilizers and how we can put a policy to prohibit the use of that in the shoreline zone. So with that, I will have Mr. Donahue take it over.
I don't know if you received one of these, this is the kind of our reports that we received to Hans.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, that's kind of what I'm gonna talk through on that, and just answer questions and get to your concerns or ideas and see what you think. But basically, it was, if you look at section 15(1), the use on lawns of fertilizers containing phosphorus is prohibited within the shoreline zone. Fertilizers containing nitrogen and potassium may be used in liquid form. Our rationale was using fertilizers containing phosphorus presents a too great a risk for water quality because of the potential for fertilizer to wash off on a lawn and into the water body. Fertilizers containing nitrogen and or potassium can be very effective and do not pose a significant risk if used judiciously. Liquid form fertilizer is preferable because it's less apt to wash into a water body. That brings us to our suggested ordinance language. The use on lawns of all fertilizers containing phosphorus in any form are prohibited within the shoreline zone. Fertilizers containing nitrogen and potassium are allowed only in liquid form.
So the other page that was included with this is verbiage that I found that included pesticides. So it's just an optional additional verbiage, food for thought. The one that says sample across it, that includes pesticides and fertilizer.
I opened the floor to the board. Anybody in the board want to speak to this right off? I'm still going through the second page here. I think isn't this email to us? Email or put in the,
You've seen all this before.
yeah, I have read it.
Couple of things. First off, just as a starting point, for everybody's information, there already exists a state law that places some very minimal prohibitions on the application of fertilizers in the shoreline zone. It's from a 2015 law that basically says you can't put any granular fertilizer within 25 feet of the shoreline, and you can use liquid fertilizer closer than that, but no closer than 10 feet. So that's a starting point. I mean, this is broader than that,
Yeah.
but just so that you know, that already exists. And at a minimum, we could do that and be consistent with state law.
What, can you, I'm sorry, can you tell us the statute?
Yeah, it's Title 38, subsection 418-B. Prohibition on application of fertilizers near great ponds. Now, that's another limitation. It's just great ponds. It's not.
Yeah.
The wetlands and streams that are regulated by shoreline zoning. So it likely wouldn't apply to Belgrade Stream, for example. I actually had the question of why not, it's what Hans just raised, why not include pesticides? I know you've raised this issue before, Nick, and that is raises a question for you, Pat. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but my understanding is that increasingly PFAS are being found in both fertilizers and pesticides, particularly pesticides that are used on golf courses and lawns. I don't know a lot about it. I happen to run into Kelly Perkins, who's the wife of the head of the town council in Oakland, but she's the chief chemist for DEP, former colleague of mine. And you know, she works on PFAS issues, and apparently DEP started finding PFAS in groundwater and elsewhere around golf courses. Which is not a good thing. But you know, she mentioned that it's found in about makes up as much as 40% of a lot of pesticides, and pesticides could be herbicides for killing weeds, or you know, for killing insecticides for killing insects. I mean, like I said, I don't know that much about it, but I was wondering if you knew any.
Just kind of what I read in, you know, the paper recently, about the PFAS. And
The PFAS element to those is, it's the binding agent that makes it cling to your grass for longevity. So,
Right. So it's
or any vegetation.
so it's there, and available to, you know, run off into the storm water, just like the rest of the pesticide chemicals. And of course, it's, you know, we already have an issue in salmon where there's a fish consumption advisory because of, not because of, I don't know that it's anything related to this. It's more related to sludge spreading in that watershed, I believe, is my understanding. So, but it's just something to think about.
yeah, we talked with Hans earlier, you know, as we've been through this, about maybe a, you know, combined thing with fertilizers and pesticides. Didn't know which way I think is the best way to run with it, so we just started with this, but I think we're open to certainly any way that works the best for the.
Well, Nick's raised.
Yeah, I mean, I would include herbicides as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just me, I'd like to see Roundup banned completely in the whole country. We shouldn't be able to spray glyphosate. So it's a carcinogen poison, and it's messing up, you know, not our DNA, literally, you know, so there's a lot of harm that's done from ashwagandha and glyphosate, so it's a real problem. We definitely shouldn't be spraying near lakes where the public can go swimming. Shouldn't be legal in this country, but they got Monsanto's got a pretty strong lobby, so you probably
They do.
you'll never see Roundup get banned.
I think you go in the big box stores, I think you still see Roundup on the shelf.
Well, it's Monsanto, so
Yeah,
they spend like $100 million in lobbies a year.
it's huge. I have people in Puerto Rico, chemists in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico told me that.
Glyphosate's a real problem, real problem. It's in all of our food, anything that high fructose corn syrup, anything, you know, 90% of your food has glyphosate in it.
So, I got, friends in Puerto Rico that teach chemistry in university and so on, and they claim that Monsanto used the island as a guinea pig
Yeah.
for all that. And as a matter of fact, there's a town in my country that, they're having deformation in people.
Mm.
Cause they sell this concentrated, weed killer. And people in the top of the island, they don't understand English.
Mm.
So they just mixed it any way they could, and they used it, and 10, 15 years later, they have seen deformations in
You
children.
know, they
in that
paid
town.
billions of those. Lawsuits, you know, but my point is, especially in water, you know, I'm talking on a larger scale. But pesticides, fertilizers, you know, herbicides, sprayed, you know, where it can go into our public lakes is. In my opinion, it's crazy, but.
I heard, from the Collins office that they're gonna go after the milfoil and they're gonna use.
Roundup.
Yeah.
No, they use a
It's
metal for
all
that.
metals. It's
The
the
metal.
stuff you make at pickles,
Vinegar?
no.
Dill.
Makes
Like a
milfoil.
brine or
No.
something like that?
Huh?
A brine?
No, it's
It's a metal.
spice that makes pickles crisp.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, Penny, come on. Pull at it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Peptine.
apparently none of us are pickle makers.
Oh, that's terrible, but anyway, they said that that's gonna kill the milfoil. There's millions of money coming to Maine to kill the milfoil, and they're gonna use, I said, what are they gonna do? Cause they're inspecting boats, come on. Ducks bring in more than boats, but anyway,
Ducks are the biggest.
not, it's not alum.
Alum, yes, right, alum, yes. I had it in my mind today.
And it's gonna take a lot of
I
it, but
didn't
it
know
doesn't
Columbus
kill
was pickles.
other things.
Wow.
Something new every day.
But that's what they use in Eastbourne, isn't it?
Yes, that was for, just for water quality.
Yeah.
Not
Alum,
alum treatment.
it wasn't gonna kill.
It kind of makes the phosphorus bind into the.
So that alum, that was multi-millions of dollars just for East Pond, so if they're bringing in millions of dollars in the state of Maine to use alum. That's only very minimal.
What's,
It's quite a process.
Yeah,
you know, figuring out
I know,
how much
but
that would-
there's a chemical they use now for killing milk.
They must be using something to kill the ticks.
They use it in New Hampshire and the rest of the country.
Kills the wood.
Ticks. I didn't see a tick problem this last summer. So they must be.
My
using
husband
something-
have been doing cottons of what do you call it?
Chemical to use,
Ticks. No?
no,
Milk
no,
oil?
no, right? Yeah.
Bert has that all packed up. He buys the thing and he concentrated and he sprays cotton ball and he put the cotton balls all over the place and the mice take it to the nest, cause that's the cycle of the tick.
Mm.
The mice take it to the nest and the larva of the tick dies there. They don't move on into the chain.
Right, can I say something on this?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna be a lot more on board with this than a no motion. I like the use of law of all fertilizers containing phosphorus in any form prohibited in the shoreline zone. I think we need more verbiage with the fertilizer containing nitrogen and potassium that are allowed only in liquid form. I think there still should be a distance, maybe not the whole shoreline zone.
100 foot setback.
100-foot setback sounds like a good idea to me.
I think you lose the word long too.
And so I'm on board with it, and a little more work. A little more specification.
And what was that, Craig? This, you'd wanted,
I like the first sentence.
yeah,
Think you need to elaborate more on the second. Fertilizer containing nitrogen, potassium are allowed only in liquid form.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be setback.
So in the first sentence, we're gonna lose the words on lawns. the use of,
Get rid of that.
Land,
Land.
land,
Just,
Yeah.
just,
Get rid of all lawns.
yeah,
turn lawns into land.
Are we really gonna prohibit people from fertilizing like flower gardens and shrubs that they plant?
that's why we didn't put it in.
Yeah.
That's why it reads this way.
And isn't there other fertilizers rather than the nitrogen, no?
No, well, if you're,
Isn't, the lawn company around here, they're using an eco-friendly,
They are supposedly,
and that doesn't contain nitrogen,
doesn't contain phosphorus.
phosphorus, yeah,
phosphorus.
yeah.
Alright, okay, alright, so maybe I gotta rethink that a little bit then, and do some more shit.
So. Again, I was thinking that fertilizer, that maybe an exemption for people's gardens. Since you work that into the soil rather than just spread it in the soil, you're putting it into a garden, like a flower garden.
Mhm.
And so it's less prone to runoff. Might be a worthwhile exception, you know. You know, that's just a point of discussion, and I think maybe we need to make it consistent with the state law as well, so I was thinking about adding some language also. That at the end of the first sentence, have an exception that said, you know, so it would be that line, second line would be the shoreline zone, except fertilizers applied in liquid form to portions of lawns greater than 10 feet from the shoreline's normal high water line. Because that would make it consistent, because neither is allowed within 10 feet under state law. And then maybe an exception for lawns and shrubs and planted trees. I mean, if somebody plants blueberries to form a barrier for stormwater, you know, it would be good if they would be able to add some fertilizer to get them going when they're first planted, is my thought.
Well, and definition of fertilizer on this other one. Has
Yeah.
some liquid options. And they does not include fish oil, but fish oil is a natural fertilizer.
Right. Pretty low in phosphorus,
I think
for
the
sure.
lake water itself is usually like a great fertilizer.
Yeah, it's that organic stuff.
The one thing we probably need to do, depending on if we keep the word lawn in or not, we would need to define lawn.
Yeah.
There's no definition in shoreline zoning at the moment, because that could mean different things to different people. Actually,
Yeah, and I hear you with the flower bed and lady blue tomatoes and. You know. On the deck,
right,
flower pot garden. Those still, I mean, but enforcement's impossible.
well, that's the other reality here.
Enforcement's
I mean, we
did was.
I think we need to go into it with eyes open. I mean, this is basically gonna be voluntary.
Well,
But
can I just, let's talk about the enforcement. I'm thinking here, listening to all this, how are you gonna enforce it from a practical perspective?
Yeah.
As code enforcement, how would you enforce? Someone's gonna tell you,
Hide under the deck until they.
right, right, so you know, well, no, oops,
7 Links got eyes and ears everywhere, man.
right.
well, I mean, absent, you know, somebody going by on a boat and seeing somebody out there spreading, you know, with their Scott spreader going nuts, it's really gonna be voluntary and it's gonna be more educational than.
Yeah, but it's in an ordinance, so people that want to obey.
A lot, I think the majority of people obey.
Well, you'd be surprised.
I
Majority of
think-
people, I think if they know it's illegal, they won't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Alright, the one thing that has been brought up is what you can use instead of fertilizer is use seaweed. And that's been around for years, you can buy it at the farm store, that's all natural stuff. And somehow maybe get that wording in there,
It is in the definition.
seaweed,
Oh,
you know, use seaweed, you know, instead of. Natural type of fertile, you know, enhanced soil, which is seaweed's a good one, you can buy it.
all of our ordinances, we can be more stringent, but not lax of state ordinances. So, If it's only 10 feet, then maybe we bump it up 15 feet to be 25 feet. Not go the whole full. So
Yeah. That makes sense too.
Yeah. The flower beds outside the 25 foot setback where they're not supposed to be dirty soil anyway.
Yep.
George, could I, at the end of the meeting, kind of get some of these comments so we can kind of put them together?
Sure,
That way, you wanna get on board, either what,
sure. Yeah, no, that way you'd have Craig's, you'd have.
have everybody's input, then we
Yeah,
can bring it back to our.
We can do that. We can also sit with the video.
Yeah,
Remember that we have the video. I know you wanna crunch your time, so we'll help you with that.
it'll be a big help if we get these bullet points, we work with Hans and come back with revised vision.
It's nice to have a meeting where we all agreeing.
Get the right something.
Maybe the pesticide, you bump back beyond the 75 feet.
That's gonna be the hard one.
Yeah.
Well. That's idea.
Pesticide, ban it altogether. It's up to me, but I take 7,500 feet.
so, or is everybody in agreement on including pesticides?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need to work that into something.
Benny,
To ban it altogether,
pesticide,
yeah,
for a distance, yeah.
huh?
for a
For a
distance,
distance.
at least a distance from the water.
Yeah,
Oh, it says, you said ban it altogether,
I mean, that's me personally, I'd like to ban it.
but they're saying within 75 feet of
Yeah.
the stream, that's what you're going along with,
Well, we haven't really
we
decided.
haven't decided on the.
It says 75 feet here, but
75 feet.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like to ban it altogether, but I'm just saying, it says 75.
what did you all agree to? The 75,
We haven't agreed on anything.
No.
We're just discussing it.
I had like 100 feet.
I'm open to option.
you know what? We have allowed so much building on the lakes that we find ourselves in this position because it's so populated. But it's like putting Band-Aids on a. I think we're beyond anything that we can do through ordinances. We need to clean it up. And then we learn from it and going forward after it's cleaned up. Do this, but to do it now, what are we gonna accomplish?
Well, so just give up.
I'm sorry,
I mean, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, that's right, that's what I
I
was.
heard that comment last time, but
We're sorry, but here,
Well, that's just, you-
what do you want?
how does it hurt though? How do you feel that hurts?
I think it hurts the landowner.
Hmm.
And it's not their fault. We've allowed all this invasion or building or whatever you wanna call it. When I was a kid, there were very few camps on the lakes. Now there are right beside each
Well,
other.
that-
So that's where we find ourselves. So this, if this could have been done back when, but now. I don't see it.
I follow your thought, but two things here is that. Every place that becomes neat and nice and everything else, people tend to move to those places. So that's what we have here right now. We have a boom in this area. That we're gonna get more of this. So that said. Way back then, when there was not a lot of people here, there was not this kind of knowledge either.
Hmm.
Because in my country, they had used Roundup, I mean, for all over
That's
the
just
place.
that's just the way I see
But
it.
now that we have information and understanding on how dangerous that is and what it's doing to us. It's a process of educating, for instance, and the reason I tell you this is in my country, using Roundup is standard. And if you don't wanna have to deal with more in the area, you put Roundup, in 6 months, you don't have to touch it. So I own a lot that is overgrown. And all my neighbors, every so often, they come and say, are you gonna come down? You're gonna send somebody you're gonna put a cow in the place so they can eat the grass? Said, no, I'm not gonna do anything about it. And so I have to explain myself into it. Worldwide, we're having a problem with insects. We have lost probably half to 75% of the population of insects that are the pollinators. And that they are the ones that foster the agriculture. So I said to them, I want all that natural, because I want insects to grow in my lot. So when they go by my lot, the grass is up this, honestly, it's up this high. I wish I could show you a picture of it.
Sonoma.
It's normal, for real, yeah. So they don't like it, but the neighbors around, they put Roundup around the edges, so you can see everything grown up, and then the edges are burned. So, I've been trying to explain to them that when they do that, they put Roundup there. They damage the ground, the dirt, they damage the dirt real, the chemistry of the dirt changes. And then when it rains, good thing that we live in the highlands, all that is washed down to the river and to the lowlands. So in the lowlands where this agriculture is sucking that up, and then who's eating what they grow there? They are. So it's getting to their system. Same if the fishermen go and to get fish, the fish that get closer to shore is absorbing all that. So I tell them that, and it's like,
But I
You know,
can see that,
it's a lack of understanding in that.
but PFAS, we're already banned on eating fish only so much. Because we're already infected, so my point is. I don't
Let-
see how
can you-
these
everybody's
little
letting-
baby steps are gonna solve the problem, we need to clean it up.
Well,
Yeah.
the ban on fish is mercury.
I'm sorry, Rick.
The ban on fish is mercury, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
In a lot of places it is,
Yeah.
and then in some places it's PFAS as well.
Yeah. The people living around the lakes, they own the problem, people own properties, so we haven't allowed them to build. They have the right to build.
Right, oh, I'm not,
And,
right, I understand that, but that's
So-
why we're in the mess we're in.
no,
I think it's
leave that,
more it's a lack of information.
because there's been studies by different people besides Colby College. They're saying the external load on these lakes isn't as heavy as what everybody's claiming compared to other parts of the nation.
Right, there's other big, highly
I
populated
think it's,
lakes
you
that are
know,
pristine.
And I'm still not sold on all the climate change, but that's what you see in this water temperature change. And I still believe that's the biggest part of it. But there is a lot of other influences as well. Some will maybe help more than others, and I think chemicals will help more than no ozone. So I'm more on board with this. We're never gonna fix it
So I think,
unless we add more chemicals.
what George said about it, it's more about volunteering and educational than it is. Enforcement at this
And
point,
a lot of the stuff,
we're beyond that point.
like the no ozone, I think that's a good educational thing.
Mhm.
Put out with our permits, not to make them force them to do it. Cause I don't believe there's enough science behind it. To offset. Losing your rights
Right,
for minimal gain.
that's,
And
you said there's some pristine lakes.
Well, there are lakes that are highly densely populated, and people around them, and their water's pristine.
Yeah,
Out of
yeah.
there.
Well, it's just because the regulations and the,
and it's also the internal load that
Internal,
has a
yeah.
lot to do with these lakes here.
the roads that go around, the road.
You have trees everywhere around them. they're full of leaves. They sit there and rot. Back in the day. People used the lakes as a dump.
Yeah,
No one, so we're seeing residual effects from that,
mm-hmm,
which doesn't even have anything to do with a lawn. Or anything, or houses. Phosphorus, this is what they threw in the lakes, because no one back in the day was buying lake frontage. And everybody would just throw stuff in. And it's a perfect example right down on the Hewlin Road, when there used to be a junkyard there and everything else. Back in the day. I lived there for 15 years and I was pulling stuff out the whole time. Tires to whatever. So the lakes used to be used as a dump. They used to have mills right on top of the water. There's stuff buried in these ponds. From these mills. Right here in the village. And the cedar mill that was on Salmon Lake. We don't know, right there, I don't think there was that much buried because there's not space for it. But I hear stories of stuff being buried in mills, this mill stream here. From when the mill used to be there. And that's what they did back in the day. And we're feeling more residual effects from that. 70, 100 years from the time. And I think that's causing a lot of our problems with our warming climate, temperature change, even if it's for 25 years, 50 years or whatever, regardless, water's warming up.
sure is.
And that's causing us more problems than I think residential is. The roads aren't helping. I think that's a big, what they're dumping on the roads is still a very major thing, but the state won't push it because that's what they want to use. So they're pushing back on it. But there is a movement now through mechanics and private people to try to push back on what they're using on the roads now. You can see it online, you go to certain mechanic shops and they'll have something right on the desk and you can just scan it and you can go to the website and sign a petition and stuff. So that's where my thoughts are. Don't stop talking.
Appreciate it.
I like to,
That's good. Good information, Craig.
like to say something.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to swing back to the pesticides and stuff like that here. For example, Roundup, just take that, that's a pesticide, right? So,
Herbicide.
Yeah.
Well,
technically, that's a-
well, it kills, whatever, anyway, it kills the plants, right? So another way to kill a plant with natural stuff is you can use salt and vinegar and something else,
Oh, yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out. And then for
The problem with that is it doesn't last long. I've done that in Puerto Rico.
well, anyways, so and then for the for the fertilizer, enhance grass or grow, stuff like that. You can use that seaweed, all right? I'm just thinking if we could kind of bring that into the regulations world and say alternatives to the Roundup and the faucet, stuff like that, that's put on by the landowner. We suggest strongly take a look at, seaweed, for doing that instead, more natural type of remedies, and they're out there on the internet now. So kind of take that approach and see what happens, more of a positive thing, you can do it. You can control things by using natural type of things out there. That's all I'm trying to get at, There's an alternative ways to do things.
Good point.
So it just kind of take a lot of time to figure this out, but it's out there, it's on the internet,
Complicated.
yeah. And I don't know if. Any lakes associations, other states have done it or what, I have no idea.
Using seaweed, you know,
Oh, they do that, you know, yeah, it's out there, but to go beyond. Just those two particular natural type of remedies. There are more out there and you'd have to do a lot of, it's gonna take a lot of research. Like for the internet, it's easy to do it. It's a lot easier to do it nationwide research because you got the internet, but it still takes time.
it's. So in the right, look in the right spots.
So
Right.
That you gonna draft up for the next meeting?
I was. Hopefully, George, did you make any?
Well, yeah,
Thank you. So maybe, is that something I can use to,
you can have it.
okay, put into our committee and then,
I didn't capture what Craig had mentioned, but,
You might have to take a picture.
no,
so what we'll do is. Pull that together, you know, work with Hans, then. Bring it back up, so we can see it for all like they.
I mean, I shouldn't say that entirely. I did capture Craig's thought about having some limit from, you know.
Yeah.
I used 100 feet, but
Yeah.
100 feet, 75, whatever we decide, but
Yeah.
So it'll be the second meeting of December.
Okay,
First meeting's kind of filled up already. And we don't want to sit in that.
Yeah, so more stringent than we have here, and I'm glad you did that.
well, we talked, it seemed to work out.
Yeah.
Cut back.
So I just Googled, the effects of tree leaves on a trout pond. Cause I know these guys that build trout ponds always say not to have trees around. So you guys can all Google this on your own, but, a large number of leaves in a trout pond can have a negative effect. Primarily by consuming dissolved oxygen as they decompose. Which can harm or kill the trout, especially in smaller, shallower ponds, and great ponds, not a big deep pond. Decomposing leaves can also increase nutrient levels that fuel unwanted algae blooms and turn the water murky and discolored. While some type of leaves even release toxins. While moderate amount of leaves can support a healthy aquatic food web, excessive leaf litter is detrimental. Negative effects, oxygen depletion, the process of leaves decompose and consumes and dissolves oxygen, which can lead to fish kills, especially in the winter when the surface may be frozen. Nutrient overload, decomposing leaves can release nutrients into the water, which can fuel excessive algae growth, leading to algae blooms. Toxin release, water discoloration, habitat degradation. I mean, there's a lot to it.
So you're suggesting that we change the ordinance and let them rake?
Yeah, cut off the trees, all the trees around the lake.
I'm not saying that.
I know.
No,
I'm saying that's the answer.
I just
No,
want
I-
to rise
I-
up, George.
no, I'm saying, I think it'd be beneficial if they could rake their leaves.
They're not moving the chain, that's a true story.
no,
Huh?
No, please, anybody that builds a trout pond knows, keep trees away from it.
Right,
And so that's a smaller scale, but on a larger scale.
yeah,
Great Pond's not that deep, North Pond's not that deep, Salmon Lake's not that deep, McGraw Pond's not that deep. And we're pushing trees everywhere to hold the soil together on the side of the pond, which blow over in a storm and rip the shoreline up.
Right.
So, I'm just not getting all that stuff.
I
Just
agree.
doesn't make sense to me.
all right, so let them rake. Rake your leaf,
I
your
don't
leaves
think
out.
bonds are the poison.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm saying. Do I say cut down the trees and put lawn in? No, not necessarily either. But,
So maybe the answer is to have low bushes around
I like low bushes.
the vicinity of
I'm a
the,
fan of that.
are you been at
I'm a fan of chemicals. This,
Right.
yeah, so let's work on that.
Yeah.
have you been able to visit recently Hoist Island?
What's that?
Have you been able to visit Hoist Island?
I haven't been out on the pond for a while.
You should go to Hoist Island. Actually, during the winter, everything is gonna be dead. But, I was there recently. And this is the first time I've been there probably in 15 years, maybe 20. And I was mesmerized that all the first 20 to 30 feet from the lake to the camps, so low bushes. And it's amazing how it maintains the landscape. Simply amazing. So the developers there set it up so the camp is higher than all these bushes, so that when you're in the camp, you can see towards the lake. So it was all kind of well thought out, so to speak. But the canopy that those little bushes made protect the soil from running into the lake when it rains.
There's a lot of rock there too, so, yes. No, I-
But the trees, you're saying the trees aren't
The
clear,
trees are, most of the trees are kind of set back from the
all the
shoreline.
leaves aren't going in the water.
So, there's some trees, but not to the, picture that Craig was, talking about. But the low bush trees
Yeah,
create a canopy that, can buffer the rain. So the dirt don't run into the stream. Yeah, they don't have,
are they pesticides or anything, fertilizer or anything else?
for that matter.
Moving on.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
oh, thank you.
I'll get this worked out.
We-
We'll send it off to, Hans, with the Hans, and then.
We probably, it's not as well, we really appreciate your group's tenacity.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, item on the agenda is the CDRO, internal lit sign limitations, and, can they be allowed to replace existing, marquees? So, should I, let Mr. Rasmussen talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
just the tip of the iceberg. We've got businesses all over town that wanna add a lit sign or change to a lit sign. Not necessarily like what Main Generators has, but something smaller. And our ordinance limits lit signs, the village and Highway 27 from this intersection to the city line. And there are already other lit signs around town on Manchester Road and Route 11, the church had one that, if they had to unplug it, but when we expand this ordinance, we'll allow lit signs on, say, like all state roads. But going back to what's on the agenda, they've got a little marquee now with a little plastic,
Who they,
any business. Between there and the village, there's a half a dozen of them. You know, storage building, the church, I think even, I mean, there's several. But the little plastic letters, blow away. they're not
Oh,
busy.
yeah.
But just replacing what they've got with a light size of a lit sign.
Yeah, they can change
So
on
we're
their phone.
not changing the square footage,
Yeah,
but it's,
so this,
and
this language, make sure we're looking at this in context, only applies to those projects that fall under the commercial development review ordinance, not all commercial properties in the town of Belgrade. Some predate, most predate the ordinance. And many are new, but didn't trigger the ordinance because of either their size or whatever. And so this only applies to those projects that fell under the commercial development or will fall under the commercial development review ordinance.
upgrading the sign would fall under that review ordinance.
What's that?
Wouldn't upgrading, changing the sign fall under
No.
this ordinance? Doesn't
No,
matter?
they could put up a new sign as long as they're in compliance with DOT regulations, because there are DOT regulations about them. And, in terms of where you can put them and how frequently they can change. Because Belgrade doesn't have a sign ordinance, a townwide sign ordinance, there's been discussions of it in the past, but we don't have that. This only applies to those projects that are large enough to trigger the commercial development review ordinance.
Okay. So if they've got a marquee out there now, like, even like the rec center has one, they can, I mean, they're in the village zone anyways.
Yeah, right,
Carter's Marine, all those businesses,
yeah,
they're regulated by the commercial development review ordinance, right?
Only if things ban.
well. I don't believe so, none of those were approved under this ordinance, I don't. Unless you know otherwise,
Well, I think
the,
maintaining the ordinance to everybody, so.
well, that's the thing, it doesn't apply to everybody. It only applies to certain, new commercial developments of a certain size and type. So for example, if somebody proposed, I don't know, a new retail store, on the West Road, they wouldn't be allowed to have an internally lit changeable sign.
Alright, well, how about the that Water Dance Farm? We just approved them to,
But that came through.
Yeah, but they didn't apply for an internally lit
they
sign,
didn't, but if they wanna add one,
they can,
yeah.
Cause that came through as a commercial
right?
ordinance. The new one. that-
Yeah, the whole concept was, again, the town does, the town wanted to do something more comprehensive, then the town needs to come up with a sign ordinance. But given that, at least in the past, that's not been the case, because this predecessors on this board went down that road once at the urging of Denny Ketchel when he was town manager, and it was a fiasco and a friggin' waste of time. But because nobody could agree on who could have what kind of sign. But that aside, you know, this limits those kinds of flashy signs that are most obtrusive on neighbors to, the areas of town that are already heavily developed. But that's the concept.
Are you
Okay,
suggesting
not to-
expanding the commercial, ordinance?
Just the language in here, it's territory that's regulated.
It's not to distract drivers, I thought that was the.
Well, yeah, and that's why DOT has regulations.
So I guess that I want to say that we are having changing in technology. When was this language crashed? What year? 2014?
2018.
Commercial ordinance.
Wait a minute, that's not right. 2016. You had just joined the
I
board.
just joined the board.
Yeah,
I mean, see, that's part of the problem is, it's kind of arbitrary, because who knows when a business was developed. The ordinance this was started.
So this is,
There's a lot
I
of-
can tell you one thing from 2016. If we broaden this, there will be a lot of opposition in town.
Opposition?
Yeah, because there was a lot of opposition in 2016 to allowing them at all. Because people thought it wasn't within the character of Belgrade, it was turning us into a suburb,
Hey, remember that, yeah, you're right,
so,
Alright,
yeah, there's two sides to this.
good. I've heard you landing here.
Moving right along.
all right.
So no
So,
action on this one.
So,
all business. I guess what I wanna, before moving to all business, what I wanted to say is that times are changing. And now, the technology allows for, even signs are, you can control it from anywhere in the state through your phone to change whatever they say. So I don't know if that should make this ordinance more restrictive or a little bit more, have a wiggle line for it? Because the signs are not as elaborated and neon look like they used to. So that's for thought. I mean, if we wanna keep some kind of the economic fuel coming into the staying within the town, and certain people start buying property along the main drag, most likely they would like to, in the coming years, start a business there. So what we're gonna admit as signs might have to change, but that, I guess we're not there yet anyways.
Well, just remember the current comprehensive plan and whatever the future. You know, the concept Belgrade's always operated on is, let's not just let it become the Wild West. Let's decide where we're gonna have heavy commercial development in town. And have it there so that people can live without having a business next door that, you know, takes away from their property values, causes nuisances and things like that. So that's the concept, and it applies to signage just like it does with noise and odors and all those other things that are potential impacts.
All right,
Just an example, George, on West Road. There's a couple businesses near the village, a welding shop, I believe, or ice cream place. They don't meet criteria to go before this ordinance. So they can put up a list on,
They could,
believe it on that residential area,
they could.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are all pre-existing, you know, they exist, have been in existence long before this ordinance ever came into play anyway.
And like all seasons,
What's that?
what about all seasons, you know, when he started, he didn't meet the
Well,
criteria.
There's so much illegal about it. All seasons, it's unbelievable, but I mean, they never even got their approval that they were required to get under this ordinance, so.
Well, it's like, that's, you know, any of them, they start small, they don't meet the criteria.
Yeah,
And they slowly grow. And it's-
so let's say All Seasons was grandfathered rather than the fact that it exists illegally, okay? They could put up any kind of sign they wanted. I mean, the select board basically approved that, not the planning board. Okay, so it, you know, it has a, and at various times, there's been a lot of friction in the neighborhood about it and stuff. Because of noise and other things, but, but, so that's not a real good example, because it actually should have got approval under the commercial development review ordinance, and as such, wouldn't be allowed to have an internally lit changeable sign.
How is it allowed to exist if it's?
I'm sorry,
How is it allowed to exist if it's illegal?
politics,
Really?
town politics, yeah. We don't have any of that in Belgrade, do we?
Not. Right.
Alright, so.
Oh,
okay. Very good with that. All right, next item in our agenda is old business, and item A is the review draft of a memo requesting legal advice from the town attorney. And I wanna let Mr. Seal lead that, huh?
So, this is what we discussed at the last meeting, and I had raised as a question I had about what limit, could we even require, what's the limits of the jurisdiction of shoreline zoning when considering this no mow or some kind of similar kind of buffer? And if, as you know, a lot of, you know, we don't get many applications for a whole new, you know, primary principal structure. What we get mostly are additions to
existing.
non-conforming structures is normally what we get. So could we even legally require a no mow buffer along say everything between the camp and the lake is, lawn, manicured lawn, the, and they put an addition on the side, say, and it meets all the ordinance requirements and stuff. Could we even require, do we have the legal authority to require a buffer the entire shoreline? Or would our jurisdiction is limited to something in front of just that addition, for example? I mean, there are other examples, so the reason I, kind of had this in my head was when somebody puts an addition on and we apply our existing stormwater management requirements, the best management practice, we only apply it to the addition.
Yep.
We don't apply it to the
And then-
entire,
then-
the existing structure.
Doesn't go retro back. to-
Because it's always been my understanding, and I think our collective understanding, that that was the limit of our jurisdiction, that other structures pre-existing or whatever it is, it's not the. So that's what I was trying to get at with this, with asking for clarification from the town attorneys. So that's, all that asks for an opinion on and some advice on. You can read it for yourselves in terms of whether you think some it needs to be, edited or amended or is adequate or inadequate.
That was pretty good. I will reread again and see.
Really? No.
I agree, George, when they come with an application. We're focused on the application and only the application. And how other ordinances apply to what they're doing, you can't take spoils. And spread them around the rest of the yard. But we can't tell them what to. What else?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the answer we'll get, but I'm not, I'm not 100% certain.
Be interesting answer. Yeah,
I mean, in revegetation standards for storm damage.
pardon?
There's revegetation standards in the ordinance for storm damage and other, building removal. Gotta be revegetated.
I mean, there are gonna be a lot more examples, of course, than the one I just gave, but.
But I
And
think
some of
that
them might be a
nails it.
little bit more even difficult.
That nails it.
Yeah,
And the only thing I can see is Lorna Mickle's last name is misspelled, but I think you laid the question out really well.
thank you.
How do you
It's
spell-
with an H, not a K,
What is it now? It's what?
huh?
How do you spell the name, the last name?
NICH.
Yeah. Now, this should come from you, not from me.
Oh, well, I drafted it this way just because in the past we've drafted them so that they are coming from you in your role as chair.
Or you
Yeah.
put all the sweat into it. Should come.
Well, I don't, that,
You're the vice chair.
Yeah,
Everybody's
that's,
gonna know
yeah,
better than write it, cause it's only 2 pages.
yeah, no, that's,
It is not colored and highlighted.
that's perfect, George.
huh?
It's perfect, it's very good.
Yeah,
Cause it's a tough thing to clarify and even explain it, that was well.
Yeah.
Well done.
the example nails it.
I think you should have your name, Mr. Seal.
Well,
You're
I'll
vice
leave it
chair.
up to you. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Twit.
So my thing with this is, it's kind of leading him into an answer. With, all right, so I guess it does say the goal of such ordinance amendment would be to slow. Now I'm back to science again, and. You know. It's saying it's gonna slow it down, but it's really not gonna slow it down that much. So this section here, the goal of such an ordinance amendment would be to slow down the overland flow of stormwater, thereby increasing infiltration. I mean, how much is that gonna actually do? Into the soil along with the nutrients, sediment, and discharge. This would be accomplished by a no-mow buffer strip, also called a recovery buffer. Between the remaining lawn and the high water, I don't know, it's kind of leading them.
So if, what if the goal of such ordinance amendment would be to potentially slow? Be better with that? Potentially slow,
Yeah, because we don't know,
right?
there's no science of it, that we don't know exactly. It's a feel-good thing to me.
Yeah, it reads as a matter of fact.
The no mow zone thing to me is a feel-good thing. By a certain group of people. That I'm not gonna label. I don't think there's a whole lot behind it. To back it up.
So potentially, right, the word potentially, you'd be good with that?
So, yeah. Certainly add in the word potential. I was just trying to, come up with other language that was a little bit more. A little clearer that. You know, this is. Well, maybe in front of goal, I could put, it's the goal of the Lakes and Natural Resources Committee, something of that nature. So, I mean, I was just trying to, the intent was just,
A proposal by the Lakes and Natural Resource Committee.
Oh, the goal of the potential ordinance amendment, so you don't say, right? The goal
how
of
about,
the,
the Lakes and Natural Resources Committee's goal for such an ordinance amendment would be to potentially slow overland flow of stormwater, thereby increasing its infiltration into. So it's not the planning board, it's, because it's their proposal, right?
Right.
Is that making any better? Your point?
Yeah, but we don't know what it's gonna do, what effect it really has.
Yeah, it's just solar types and topography has a lot to do with it.
You know, saying reducing the quantities of these pollutants discharged into the lake, we don't know that shit. I'm being frank, it's,
Yeah, but,
so that's leading somebody into an idea, oh, this is gonna be better for the lakes. Well, is it?
Yeah, I get it, what you're saying, but the question to the attorney is, if we would move forward, how do we implement that?
Yeah, so I think all that stuff needs to be taken out, all the stuff trying to influence him. I think you just ask him, can we do a no mow zone?
Yeah.
Without all the influence in front of it.
You know, somebody to alter their property that's outside the scope of their application.
What's that?
You're trying to force people to change their property, that is.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, but we're asking a question to. A lawyer. So he doesn't need to know what it is, can we? You know, cause this stuff, none of it's proven. So, why don't we just ask him if we can do a no mow zone for a permit?
yeah, see, if I were in his shoes, I would like a little context as to what we're trying to accomplish so that I could give intelligent feedback. And that's, all that.
Why is that, and why is that got to do anything to do with the law? why does it influence?
To better understand what our question, not the law, but our question.
I think it's trying to lead somebody into an answer. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it was successful in that,
Well, maybe we
Yeah,
should
but
add,
I thought the question is more, not whether we can tell someone they can mow it, but if we. Or they have to have a no mow, but if we were to vote on that, does it pertain to the whole piece of
Right,
property
yeah.
or just the addition? That's the
Right.
focus of this question.
Right,
Can we
it is.
force them to do it on their whole property?
no, right, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just,
Not can we?
do we
force
even have
them?
jurisdiction?
Yeah, right. I mean, he might come back and say, you can't do a no mow, you know, I mean, and just.
well, he could, yeah,
Could, but I think the gist of the question is, how does it pertain to the. Just the addition or the whole lot? Can we go
So we-
retro and say now your whole property has to have a no more?
Correct, I like what George said, we have jurisdiction
Yeah,
to dictate what they do with the land versus the structure, that would.
I'd like to see more of that, and do we have jurisdiction to dictate what they can do with their land to an existing structure? And, don't try to influence him with all this stuff here.
there wasn't.
Just ask if we can change, make them force a change into their land as existing to get a permit to put dormers on.
would it help, Craig, if we, in that, Yeah.
But
in that context there, would it help if we add that as a result of suggestions from the Lake and Natural Resource Protection Committee? They come with idea of posing or considering a no-move zone because of this
I don't think
vision.
Lakes and Natural Resource Committee needs to be mentioned. We're asking a question. Can we put a no-mow zone on a piece of property that's existing lawn to get a permit for dormer?
Easy, Craig, I
The
understand.
Lakes and Natural Resource Committee doesn't need to be mentioned.
Yeah, okay, hold on a second.
All this stuff here doesn't need to be mentioned. We're asking a direct question.
I,
Are we allowed to change someone's property for a permit? And so it's gotta be simplified. All this extra stuff doesn't need to be here.
let me back up a little bit quick. I guess we're trying to approach a lawyer on a question and throw him cold into the lake. Like, I just need to know this. And just as a courtesy, I think what the script is trying to do is to give him a backdrop of why we're getting with this question. I don't think there was,
No, we're
well,
going
Greg,
to
I'm
the
talking.
legality of it. You can talk circles all you want, Sarah, and it's not gonna change my mind.
I'm not trying to talk circles, Craig.
We're asking a legality of whether we can enforce a no-mow zone. We don't need the background, we don't need the influence of how it's gonna help the lake. We don't need to throw all that in there. We're asking if we can do it.
I agree with Sarah. I think it's entirely unreasonable to expect our attorney to understand what we're asking if we don't provide the background and how this question arose and came before the board. I think that's just not realistic.
No, I disagree. I think it's an influencing. Right up.
The lawyer is not gonna tell us whether mooring is a good idea for the lake or not. But the lawyer is gonna tell us if we actually can, it's not under our jurisdiction, having exactly what you're asking. But in order to introduce a question to a lawyer, we just cannot go with.
Why do they need to know what it's gonna do to the road?
Because it's just professional to do that, Craig.
No, it's not. It's a matter of opinion. That's opinion.
Well, you wanna ask the
There's no
judge,
science behind it. That's what I'm getting at.
not,
You're putting an opinion out there to a lawyer, asking him for his opinion.
right, but if.
Not on that.
No, but if it's not legal, it doesn't matter what kind of way we direct them. he's either gonna say yes or no, you know what I mean? Do you think that he's gonna change his mind and go against the law?
You're leading
because-
somebody into.
Well, he should,
No.
he
Well,
should.
that's a good idea.
If it's legality, if it's a strictly legality question, then it's either a yes or a no, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what you tell them, you know what I mean? I didn't even think that was the purpose. I thought the purpose was to see how it pertained to, again, the addition of the whole piece of property. But we can phrase it, can we even do it in general? Is it even possible? Never mind to the whole property or just the addition. Can we even tell somebody they can change?
So
it?
why is the background needed if we're just asking them a legal opinion, whether we can force somebody to change their land or not?
The land use, it's a land use question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is the background needed? I don't understand you guys' thinking. Ask a
Well, I
direct
just think
question,
it's
to get a
content,
direct
right.
answer.
That one, that's.
It's
what we're
just,
looking for.
I think, Craig, more than anything, is a courtesy thing to her lawyer, that's all. As the
I
way,
disagree.
is the way, professional, dialogue comes, it's like, if I, contacted.
Professional dialogue, leading somebody into an answer
No,
with
Craig,
unproven
the,
science.
the main question here is about jurisdiction. And it's just, it's presenting to the lawyer how this come about to the board, because we don't even do this. This is not our job. Our job is just processing applications.
Hey,
That's all.
I got a question for me.
What?
Right, right. You know, on the very first sentence of the letter here.
Sure.
right, the Belgrade Planning Board has a question, in between that, a question, add in land use question regarding limit the shoreline zoning. The code enforcement officer brought up a good point, and Craig, you brought it in too, is the land use. So the question is, to the lawyer is, we have a land use question, put that in quote, land use quote, question regarding limits on shoreline zoning jurisdiction, blah, blah, blah. That's the very first sentence in part of the first paragraph. And then do we want to change, so Craig is saying, suggesting to go into the second, the next big second paragraph, you're getting a lot of the background information, stuff like that. Do you want to reword that or what? But I think the first paragraph, you're gonna say, right, okay, it's a land use question, let the attorney think in those terms. Because you're gonna, in the land use. Then the other part of the question is the building on the land. Oh, you got kind of a two-part question here, land use and the building. No, see me getting that?
Yep.
You know, and if they are just coming in for dormers. How are you gonna make them change their land just because they wanna put a dormer in? How are you gonna make, I mean,
That is the goal. They
Or-
do
or
anything they want.
put an entryway in the back,
Yeah,
you gonna make them
Well, yeah.
change their land?
that's what they're trying to accomplish, though.
Yeah, and they're using the shoreline zoning permit. As. You know, you could say a tool or a weapon
To get
to
in,
get what they want done. Without improving. It's not gonna make that big of a berm would make more of a difference.
I agree with you, I'm not sold on that either, but. I would hope that the attorney wouldn't rule a legality question over an opinion. I would hope he would just stick to the law, so I think a little context doesn't hurt, but. Like, I think maybe not writing it matter of factly, this is what is going to happen, this is what this will do. If, maybe just, this is what they're trying to accomplish, potentially could do this. But really, we just wanna know legally, can we do this,
Trying to see how we can reword that.
So. Let me run this up the flagpole and see if, this
Yeah.
is any closer to being acceptable. The first thing would be to, in the second paragraph, starting halfway in the fifth line, eliminate that sentence that starts with the goal of such an ordinance, eliminate that entire sentence along, so eliminate, the goal of such an ordinance amendment would be to slow overland flow of stormwater, da. The end of that sentence, plus eliminate the next half of sentence, this would be accomplished by. And then insert in front of the word establishment. The proposal before the board is to amend the ordinance to require the establishment of so what I just read would be all new language, would be establishment of no buffer strip between the lawn and the normal high water line. The buffer strip would, and then continue on, proposal is for the buffer to be physically established by limiting the frequency. I mean, he needs to know what a no-mow
Right.
buffer strip is.
So that sounded, can you say that again?
So, on line 5 in that second paragraph, eliminate the sentence that starts with the goal of such.
Yeah.
Eliminate that entire sentence, then continuing along, also limit.
All the way to stream? So like 3.
Yes. all
Yes,
of it.
the stream, all the way to the stream.
Yeah.
And then also eliminate the next partial sentence. This would be accomplished by eliminate that. And then insert the language. The proposal before the board is to amend the ordinance to require and then continue on with,
Establishment.
yeah,
That
establishment.
sounds much better.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, it's, it's a proposal that's sitting that we've been provided and we're trying to evaluate.
Yeah, I like that. Better.
And would we add his suggestion with the land use question up top?
On top, yeah. Has a question,
Board has a question regarding land use and or
A land use question?
yeah. A land use question.
I don't know, if you can throw that on, but either way, it doesn't matter to me, but I like the thing we just did down below it is.
So the question is now, do we need a motion to approve the letter we're gonna send or?
Well, before we do
We'll
that,
vote
before we do that, I think we're
Okay.
still in the discussion because
Okay,
going on to the second phase of top,
okay,
you get an erosion, stormwater runoff, protecting water quality, so that you would specific propose expansion, construction or change. Now you're going from land use. You're introducing, the applicant who wants to do something to the building, so. We're moving from land use discussion, now we're moving into construction, expansion. How do you wanna handle that?
Well, that's on the application that
Okay,
you're gonna be reading to approve. The point is the application is for that addition or expansion. It is not for changing land use. And that's kind of where the committee's trying to push us is into land use change. When we get an application. For an expansion.
alright, so you wanna say, that should be said right what you just said in this. In one sentence. Make it real clear.
You
Right,
have some suggested language, Pete?
well, whatever you just said there.
That's not good enough.
Oh,
No, I mean, that's fine, but I need the language, okay?
I know.
If you're gonna
I just-
make suggestions, I need to hear them.
yeah, I'm not clear what.
I
what
think
would you
there's
change?
problems.
And by the way, you know, those items, soil erosion, stormwater runoff, protecting water quality are all findings of fact we have to make on any permit.
Yeah.
I think, Peter, if you look at the last sentence on the previous page, or, well, as long as it's already narrowed in scope and limited to only addressing. You know. Which is. What's in the ordinance already, so. I think it's fine the way it's written.
It's two
Right.
separate questions.
Right.
I like it.
Can you start a sentence with or, George?
I'm sorry,
Read it back to you.
You just point your chain.
May I read it back to you?
who?
Read it back, she's gonna read it.
May I read it back?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Where it starts the goal. I've eliminated that line and the next line and changed it to say the proposal before the board, it is to amend the ordinance to require. I don't know where we go from there.
Require the, and that is inserted before the word establishment at the beginning of 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5,
Yeah,
6,
got it.
7, 8 lines.
Okay, so it would say to require establishment of a no more buffer strip and finish the sentence.
Yeah,
And then do we leave the buffer width in the next sentence?
yes, yeah, the remainder would remain as
Okay,
is what I'm proposing.
okay. Got it.
Any more changes? Peter,
Uh,
any more changes? We're good?
Alright.
Right.
So, given the changes and everything, this really should come from you now.
Okay. So you want me to,
I mean, because it's the work of the collective board,
Gotcha.
not me.
so now, should we vote on this, script to send it?
I think so. I think we should.
So I'm going,
Uh,
We only added a couple words, we took some out.
no, but,
Still all yours.
but we
Yeah, we made some edits.
We waited, yeah, we waited on it. It's the board's, language now.
So should we wait for a draft?
Yeah, to vote on a draft.
If you want, I can redo it and then we could take it up. I don't know if there's time at the next meeting, but
At the end, yeah. The next meeting's gonna be still.
that's fine too.
Oh,
Well, I just.
we don't have time, it's.
Well, it's just that,
Maybe.
we're just gonna do Jones, and then
Yeah.
we can do our administrative
Yeah.
stuff at the end,
Mm.
like the minutes, and we should be out here.
I mean, this is not time sensitive.
No,
No.
If it's comes out as we just talked, then that's.
next meeting is a trial, right? Oh,
Try. And you're the judge.
Yeah.
It's a simple application
Yeah.
that we apply the ordinance to.
Right.
Oh, so we're actually gonna do our work next. We're gonna do what we're supposed to do.
So I'll redraft this and I'll provide it to you, Hans, to put in the packet for the next meeting.
Wonderful,
Thanks, George, appreciate it.
no problem.
Speaking of next meeting, Jones. Did reply that they will have a video.
Yep,
So I'm not sure if everybody saw that email.
so that, and then also important from, communication from the, lawyer is that, in processing the application, we have to consider both our ordinance and the rule of the state, the courtroom. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I don't know if I copy everybody on that one. I made a list of 6 or 7 questions for the lawyer and he answered back. And pertaining to the operation of the board towards that application, that was stamped that we we need to use the ordinance as a rule and the court ruling as well. So I don't know if he was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to defend himself into it, because I was trying to lead everybody just stay with the ordinance, because we already morphed the ordinance based on the state law. So being dancing on both sides, dealing with both rules, it's gonna be kind of iffy to measure. This is the application, two rules measuring the application, rather than just work with one rule to measure the application to see if it goes through. So, I will say that for the next meeting, I hope that everybody, we read well our ordinance and we read well the court ruling, and especially go over the changes that we did last spring to the ordinance, because those are the ones that morph the ordinance, taking the court ruling, and those are the changes that our town approved. So I mean, no matter what the lawyer for the state says, or even our own lawyer, hey, listen, we are volunteers here working with applications, and we have a rule given by the people of our town to follow, and this is the one that the people, the I don't know, 700,000, 1,300 residents of this town approve us to use as a rule, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I know this is gonna be a big stretch, especially with the way the attorney for the states is looking at things, and also our lawyer, that they want us to use the ruling from the court. And I personally think guiding this board into this, that will be a completely unreasonable question for this board, or ask for this board. We have an ordinance that last year we spent 3 months fighting over what should be added to the ordinance, and we already passed through that pain, and we already kind of rake out of that court ruling while we were gonna put in our ordinance. That's already done. So we, with the ordinance, we have improved the ordinance and brought in what we were able to take from the ruling, because nobody came over to explain us the ruling here. The judge didn't come here to tell us exactly how to change the ordinance. This is something that we had to do as a group. And as a group, we posted that for the public. The public approved it. So the public had told us, okay, you guys are good to use this rule, and that's it. And I'm not a lawyer, but I don't want to put this group through the getting itself pieced apart over what the judge said and what they didn't say. We have an ordinance, and that's what we're gonna go by. I mean, we cannot be, because if we use the ordinance and we emit an order or emit a judgment, I can tell you that both lawyers, if one lawyer doesn't see it's going their way, they're gonna start poking us around it, or vice versa. We have to go by one rule. We read the rule and we understand the rule, and that's all we're gonna do, go by that rule. We're not gonna be sag around because they interpret that the judge said this or the judge said that. I say, well, no, that's not our problem. Our problem is going by the ordinance that is given to us from the town.
So Sarah, I'm confused now, and we need to be careful about how far we take this conversation without two parties
Sure.
here, but I thought you said that the attorney advised us to that we need to take into account both the ordinance language
I will read to
and
you.
the Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, it's,
Because Supreme Court decisions are usually considered case law.
okay.
And we did follow the ordinance in the first place, so.
My point is that
Where did that?
We-
that's-
last year, this group, it was a scrutiny, it was something that we stand ourselves into it and we struggled tremendously with it. We already have gone to the struggle of understanding what from the court ruling will be permeating to ordinance. So I'll read to you guys exactly what our lawyer said. And I will send it to you too.
You know, thinking about this, this would be a more appropriate conversation to have at the beginning of next meeting,
Okay,
when the other parties are here.
I guess what I wanted to say today in preparation for next meeting. Please read the ordinance. Remind yourselves what were the changes that we introduced to the ordinance last spring. We went over that right before the meeting last time, you and I. We went over those changes. And then also you're gonna have to read on your own the court case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you could send us the attorney's opinion.
Yeah.
That would be good,
Yeah.
so we can look at it in advance.
So if you do those 4 things, that'd be great.
Do you have the,
That will be you will be posting that in the website, isn't it? Those 3 those, the ordinance is in the website. The shoreline center ordinance. The changes that we did. I had those print out separately for myself. I think, that was given to us, last December by George. It was a script. And then we also had the court, do we have the court ruling,
Yeah, you provided us that at the
the court
earlier
ruling
meeting.
at the meeting?
That
So,
was in our handouts.
I'm not putting that on the website as part of the application.
okay. Can, I will come
I don't do
tomorrow,
that for every application, I mean, it's. The rules we apply to this application, we have to move forward with everybody else in fairness to.
so what,
Citizens being treated equally.
so what I will do for the group, is print out the exclusive changes that were put in the ordinance last year in the warrant.
So what are exclusive changes you're talking about?
The
Well-
definitions,
Yeah,
Definitions?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you need to do that. It's the definition of accessory structure that's right in the ordinance.
yeah, it's in the ordinance.
And we all have the ordinance, so.
but
I think you need to be cautious not to take duplication thing too far. Because again, you're gonna do it for every application.
And they're allowed the square footage.
Yeah, we don't govern square footage past 100 foot.
They're allowed the square footage.
So that new building's not duplicated because it's 2 stories instead of 1.
Right.
so,
We're gonna deal with that next 2 weeks, so.
okay. So, I'll make a note to myself to send you the email from the attorney answers to that. So. Let's see. Table business, pesticide and section to the ordinance, we talked about that already today.
So we're gonna talk about the certificate of occupancy.
Yeah,
Wanted some.
that's
proof
next.
That it was required, I printed off. Title 25, chapter 313, subsection 2353, the duty to inspect buildings under construction. Which references. Down further, section 2373, which is the 2nd page. No occupancy without certificate. So. Brought this to you because. On your advice, how you want to, you want to put it in ordinance. let's put a statement on the application, or how do we make this apparent to our applicants and legally binding?
Do you have any sense of, in other towns, how they handle this, you know, say China or, you know, towns of comparable size?
Rollinsford has a certificate of occupancy, is it an ordinance, Craig, you know?
I don't know, what it is, but, yeah, they have a certificate of occupancy, but there's only, you know, they can't. They can't enforce the whole.
This is limited to fire safety, plumbing, sanitation. And that's about it.
Well. Yeah, stair heights and stuff is included as well, But, what am I trying, what's the name of that?
Or the main uniform building in it?
Yes, that
Energy
doesn't
unit.
apply, unit,
You bet,
move back,
yeah,
all that doesn't apply.
no, this is just the
So
fire
this-
safety.
As far as residential. Building goes, your fire safety. That we have to abide by, is the encapsulation of rock
Well, or between one
for
for
regular residential. If you have some sort of
duplex,
duplex, that has to be divided as well.
yeah,
But if you have anything larger, I don't know about fire blocks and all that other stuff, I'm not experienced in that, But a duplex, yes, I agree as well, that has to be,
or would they?
and that's still done just by fire alarm.
ADUs, yeah, then allow rooms over the garage, so your second story and attached, so you gotta go two places, sidewall,
Yeah, well,
or.
yeah,
So. Hans, it almost sounds like we need to, at least by reference, include. I don't know, I guess the minimum lot size ordinance, but or maybe a entirely separate ordinance. The appropriate parts of state fire code or any.
I think it's,
Because we don't have any of that.
I think
Now-
there is a mention in one of our ordinances, I mean, section 16, the admin part, you know, the bail and the occupancy. I think we. You know, the approved application, you know, there's a time.
I mean, so. Correct me if I'm wrong, what do you? The ordinance that applies when you're issuing a building permit is the minimum lot size ordinance, right? Let's ignore shoreline zoning.
Yeah.
So
You say
would it
that.
make sense to include this stuff in there?
Yeah, in the admin part, there's a part, you know, that says that permit applications are required for all temporary permanent structures. Yada yada expansions and so forth. And I think maybe we expand that to include
Okay.
a you know, certificate of occupancy.
so that one,
Sense.
That, and you can put the specific, you know, the fire code and plumbing safety.
so that one be easier. Done easier by including that in the permit. In the building permit itself. Explaining that there has to be a occupancy permit, before this is. Permit is,
I think that's where you gave them a notification, but enforcement comes out of an ordinance.
Almost seemed to me, might want to do both, you know,
Yeah.
I think you need the ordinance that. So that the town in Vance has the legal authority and then. To educate people. You know, do what you're suggesting as well. correct?
Yeah, unless it's aligned.
Yeah,
The application.
right, because I mean, a lot of people are not gonna be aware of this. I would think.
I'll draft up the change of the application if you do the ordinance.
and it's,
That's a good deal, huh?
a deal.
Oh, you say Roman done this already?
but it's only to
We just talked
include,
with Roman done? Yeah.
I mean, there's more stuff than just. Fire, I mean, like I say, it's stairs
Which is about fire, so fire people, yeah.
and egress windows, it's fire.
Well, then you get into the 4,000 and above
So it's just fire and plumbing, basically.
population.
So it's not a matter of whether somebody puts foam on the outside of the foundation or not, that
It's not
doesn't,
energy.
that doesn't apply.
Not energy code.
Um. Yeah, I guess that's something.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these really specify what you were just describing, all the different building requirements that would apply to a town under 4,000. This is just, you know, duty to inspect and occupancy certificate, you know, so we'd need to come up with what those standards would be that apply in Belgrade.
Well, I'd be afraid we miss, so if we just go by.
Actually, George just hit it on the head. There's a 2353, the first sentence. To see that all proper safeguards against catching or spreading of fire are used. It's still talking about safeguards.
Yeah, spreading the fire, so then we don't have chimneys and flues are made safe, so that's a 2-inch space around the chimneys and da 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 da. So fire and plumbing is basically, the two things in this town that would be considered an occupancy permit.
Do either of you know, is there, well, in the case of the fire, a state fire marshal's office regulation we could cite or incorporate by reference and with regard to plumbing, I assume it would be the state plumbing code.
Well, it's title 25 is the fire marshals. I'll look into these other sections. I don't think,
I mean, I know nothing about this.
well, egress, everybody knows. That's like the standard of all
Yeah,
contractors. So that's the stairs, the railings, the window sizes and that, so forth. But this, I think, really just limits the municipality because 2,000 inhabitants. I'll email you with these relevance.
maybe this is too urgent to wait, but does it, I mean, we're gonna have to revise the minimum lot size ordinance anyway, to comply with that new state housing law. Should we do it all at once or?
We should, I think, that will be the way to go. Now, is that being delayed? Is that, you think that's gonna, that new requirement from the state? Is that something that we're not gonna probably work on till end of next year or fall of next year?
Not my decision, that's yours.
Well, at the last time we discussed this, we didn't vote on this, but we seemed like we had consensus that we would wait until the state came up with its regulations that would implement the law.
Yeah.
And that presumably is next month, if they're on schedule.
So if that's the case, we gotta work on this right before the June meeting. Is it now the next meeting, the next town meeting is gonna be in June?
Yeah,
We're late for this.
that's why I asked. You know, this may be more urgent and we may not wanna wait, because it's something we're not complying with now, I guess.
Right.
If I understand correctly. Rather than waiting,
Do you think,
I mean, cause I assume we're gonna want to get assistance from somebody like Katie Cog again. And we'll need to figure out how to do that because there's no funding for unlike last time, there's no funding for this. It's a unfunded mandate as far as I'm concerned. And so in that case, if unless they can do it as a service to us as a member town, we may have to pay, so we may have to raise money through town meeting. So that all takes time, of course. So that's maybe a good reason to move ahead independently with this. If-
Do you think if we have a draft from another town, we can knock it
Yeah, I
off?
can get
right
that
off?
from what they've got. We are out of compliance, but we've been out of compliance since at least 2011. So.
Well, there's no urgency. So what else is new?
So you, Rome does have one, you can get that, and we
We
can,
can work it out. It's not gonna be for the January meeting. Definitely, isn't it?
What's that now?
It will not be for the January meeting.
Oh, hell no.
Okay. So we still
And
can,
this is something I stumbled upon, not like anybody came to us and said, hey, you're not doing this.
Right.
so,
Who actually enforces this stuff at the state level? Is it
Not a margin, if
fire marshal?
there's ever an issue.
You're right, yeah.
Let somebody build an ADU and they just slapped it together with,
Right, it burns down and somebody gets hurt,
yeah.
right?
so probably we're gonna be tabling this to a second meeting in December or maybe January,
Probably January.
okay? We're gonna table
You
this,
can share information and I'll shoot you with, you know, if you wanna work on it and decide, great, we'll have something that can, you know.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah,
I told you before, I know nothing about this, I wouldn't qualify.
I'll do that part on the application before next week.
so, so we're gonna be table that, the next, second meeting in December or January, or actually first in January?
This doesn't have to go before the town to vote on.
Does.
It
yeah,
does.
Yeah, if we go the route of amending the minimum lot size ordinance.
So it might be,
So we have Rome, what's Reedfield? Reedfield is, they're under 4,000.
Yeah, they're about the same size.
Well, Vernon, let's talk a few of them if we can,
Then,
Yeah.
mhm,
and maybe, I don't know if we have to change an ordinance. Maybe we won't have to change an ordinance to implement this.
mhm.
Well, that's a good point, because maybe it's all specified in state law or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying, could they
Let's
vote?
see what,
Yeah.
see what those towns have to offer.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have to change an ordinance.
Well, there would be a refreshing change in itself.
But, I mean, should have that suburban, I'm not against that,
Yeah.
it's, as long as it's within the realm of.
Well, that was my question, is could the town even vote that down, state law?
Well, that's a good point.
Are the other
So-
towns enforcing it? That have it?
Yeah, some of Rome is,
They are.
inspections.
Single Andy?
Yeah, no, since Andy, no,
No.
with Andy, he's the only one I've ever had, actually, what's that? Yeah, and I was like a half an inch. Head height difference, and of course I was brought up. Save the world.
alright. Okay, we're moving on. Minimum lot size ordinance changes. Section 5A.
No, that's just stuff in queue for our attention in the future.
Okay, so
So
we,
today, with shoreline, we're gonna take off that list and move it up to. Old business topic, because we're working on that. Certificate of occupancy will table till January.
Yep.
And the others will pick up when we are ready to pick them up.
The minutes,
Yep,
so,
minutes.
just 2 minutes. No, I wanna ask,
She doesn't have a question.
John King,
Joanne King.
I don't know, there was another person here tonight.
There's no question.
Mrs. King, you have something to say for the audience here in the meeting?
They didn't raise their hand or anything.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
All right,
Who's that?
that was Mrs. King.
Okay. I just didn't know, she was.
I'm sorry, I didn't notice that you were even with us. Welcome to the meeting. So, we are now in, approving the minutes. So I was gonna ask Mrs. Morel, is this minutes are, the ones that, AI speed up for us? Really?
Well, I
For
think
most, for most part, you start with that.
with my notes,
Oh, so that's helping.
very much.
Oh,
Oh, good.
Yes,
that's
but
great.
I'm glad that you read it closely, because like last time. I had I said the board did such and such, and Rich picked up, he said, I think that was the applicant, so there's things like that that. I wouldn't catch.
Yeah, still
I might-
requires a little bit of human input.
What?
Still requires some human input.
Oh, yeah,
No,
and
so,
expertise.
so now, is this, is this shrinking your job,
Oh, yeah,
make it a lot easier?
well. It gives you more information than I would if I was taking, there's no way I would have all these notes. So. Combination of both, it makes my job easier and it gives you, like Rich said last time, he said, we used to get minutes, it said, we discussed this, we made this decision, we moved on to the next one, and he said it's helpful to have this
Contact, yeah,
conversation and
yeah,
more information.
excellent. And so the machine understands me then. I like it.
Did it, on the first page, did I have the right people that attended that site visit? Craig, George, Rich, and Sarah?
Yeah.
Did I leave anybody out?
Yeah. Peter was,
Peter went to that?
Peter.
Okay,
What?
To the NOMO.
oh,
No, he didn't win. No,
excuse me,
oh,
I was thinking.
so that's right then.
Well,
Just wanted to show.
sorry. I will direct you, whatever.
You ready? So any changes to the minutes?
Have a question, just a brief question. On the last page, mobile home ordinance needs updating discussion. The discussion was held, consider the elimination of the mobile home ordinance. Struggle remembering that.
It was mentioned at the meeting.
Yeah.
Someone said we ought to just get rid of the whole.
Yeah, actually, that was me. I asked the question if, we just get rid of the ordinance. And if it would, if most of if the requirements were basically covered by the subdivision ordinance.
Well, there's mobile home parks.
Right.
There's a separate definition of state claim, so. That we can explore, we might be required to have one.
Oh. I didn't pick up on that last time, but anyway, in terms of what's in the minutes.
No changes.
Alright, well, I'm gonna change right after that. The building inspection requirement debate. That whole section there can be eliminated, because that's covered where we talked about. Whole business specific to occupancy. The same conversation.
Oh,
That's
so
the thing that AI did. Remember I emailed you and said it bounces back and I sent you the printout of the AI to show you. It was
Yeah, so
all
just
jumbled up this last time. It was
cross that
very
whole
confusing.
paragraph.
you get that?
So eliminate the building inspection requirement debate and that paragraph following it.
Yep,
Is that a yes?
yes.
Yep. Yes.
One minor item, same page, second line down at the end changes. The changes deadline is, rather than over a year away, we talked about, July 2027. So eliminate over a year away, substitute July.
So is July 2027.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Any further corrections? See none, so I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of November 12th as amended.
I'll second.
So we have a motion from Mr. Alexander and a second from Mr. Seal. Any further discussion? I hear none, so we're gonna vote. Mrs. Sakara?
Yes.
Mr. Surgeon?
Yes.
Mr. Seal?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander? I mean, myself, Sterling gets a yes, so 5 in favor, no opposed. Minutes approved.
Never mind.
Oh, you wanna say something?
No, I can't count.
Thank you, George.
So then I was entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion as well.
I'll second that one.
Don't be so
Mr.
enthusiastic.
Alexander making motion. Mr. Sakara second that. We voted, Mr. Sakara,
Yes.
Mr. Surgeon,
Yeah.
Mr. Seal.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Alexander. And Mr. Sterling says 5 in favor, no opposed, and we adjourn.
103 people voted no.